Hi, this is Cindy with Quantum Kaleidoscope. Hope you're doing well. I'm gonna do a pick a card. It seems like it's been a while since I've done like an official one. So I'm gonna do a uh, three card pick a card. About basically, so Mars went direct yesterday, and so it takes a little bit of time to kind of really gain motion. However, it's a really close planet to us, so I mean, it speeds up pretty quickly, right? And so, okay, well, I'll talk about Mars and potentially as we go along. But basically, what I'm going to do right now is pick three cards, okay? And so you can go directly to whatever card you want, or maybe hear me blurb about Mars. I don't know if I'm going to or not. But what three cards? Okay, can we pick? We have. Okay, let's see. One, two. Okay, we got two so far. Okay, what's the third one? Hope you're doing well. Third one. Okay, interesting. Okay. So I'm gonna try not to like it has words on the bottom, so I'm gonna try not to show you it. Okay, so the first one is citrine. Okay. The next one is Brazillianite. Okay. Okay, and the third one is black obsidian. Okay. So I wonder if I can do this without. Okay. So the first one I will go to will be the citrine. Second one is the Brazilianite, and the third one is the black obsidian. So is there one that you are called to do? I'm sorry that it's not too clear. Maybe I'll try to do something else. Okay, so again, feel free to go directly to it. Okay, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about Mars, I guess. I don't really know what I'm gonna say, but basically, um, Mars is in its home sign of Aries. Aries is the god of war. Mars is our fire, our inspiration. It is, that hero within. Okay, and so it's been retrograde since September, mid-September. And so now it's starting to go direct. And so, like I said, it is a personal planet. So, I mean, unlike planets like, Saturn and Jupiter, okay, that can really affect us, on the grand scale and on like a collective, societal level. Planets like Mars and Venus and Mercury really can help affect us on the day to day. And so a lot of people have heard about Mercury retrograde. It's starting to come really common in, you know, popular media basically. Okay, because I mean it does go, retrograde three times a year roughly. I said that at 3:33 in this video. Anyways, so maybe things are manifesting or starting to build and starting to see form. Anyways, which I imagine that is the like, the benefits of Mars going direct. Okay, but I mean, and so anyways, so it does affect us personally, okay? But that's Mercury, right? So I mean, it's we get used to that energy, right? But Mars goes, retrograde once every 2 to 2.5 years, okay? And it doesn't always go retrograde in its home sign of Aries, okay? So it is like, and also it doesn't always stay as long as it does, based on different retrogrades and things like that, okay? Mars has been in Aries since June, end of June. Okay, it usually spends 6 to 8 weeks in a sign, maybe at most. Sometimes maybe a little bit longer, 2.5 months maybe. Okay, but it doesn't leave Aries until January 12th, I believe, roughly. That's a long time. Okay, and the thing is that every time a planet goes back to its home sign, that is the beginning and the end of a whole new cycle. Okay, so the fact that this is the longest retrograde and the longest time it's been in Aries since 1988. Okay, like I would have been three, roughly 3.5 maybe, depending, and it's just like so many people, it's like first time in their lifetime, maybe second time in their lifetime, and it is really about, you know, that like when it goes retrograde, and especially when we're embodying that Aries fire, the Aries, like, you know, action kind of thing, right? The Aries passion, you know, like when it's retrograde, that really is about, like that hero's journey within, it's just like, with all retrogrades, you might have felt that it's been a lot of start and stop, especially with anything that has been kind of like a passion, our passion projects, for example, then a start and stop, or motivation levels, okay? Especially if you're highly influenced by Mars, like I am. Oh my goodness, because like I have so much Aries, and all of the stuff. So it's been fun, but you know but it's like now that it's like, what have you reflected on, during these last, you know, like since September specifically? Okay, because what you're going to find is that there is going to be a repeat in themes. Okay, and it's going to depend on, like your personal chart, and especially, like, but if you're highly influenced by me, like really like me in terms of Mars, it could be like everywhere. Um, so, oh man, I just gotta like, I hope I don't run out of space. I just had this like complete like, okay, let's see what happens. Kind of like, hey, Cindy, make sure you don't get used. Anyways, doesn't matter. So like you could have experienced things like that, like, or in the sense that, things that you've tried to start, there had been something that is stopping you, and it's usually been so that you could review, like all the same themes of retrograde, still, reuse, reduce, recycle. Okay. Anyways, but now, okay, you're going to be seeing like a repeat of themes, but now you have this new perspective. If you've been doing the reflection about like what you are passionate about, like what lights that flame, like now you will start to see re like forward motion that you were struggling to see before, depending in some realm of your life. And if it's not you specifically, okay, then it's like if you don't find that you're like maybe not as, influence, there's gonna be people around you that are now taking action, and so there's gonna be a lot more forward motion. So get excited because, and also like, that is that like, Eight of Wands energy of like fast movement and travel. So like hold on to your hats because, things are gonna move fast. And so hopefully you were prepared. Okay. So for those who chose number one, I'm going to go into that, which was citrine. Okay, which is, they say, abundance. So it's interesting. So like maybe, in your case, it just feels like there has been, you know, something about kind of getting your security, maybe getting your money in order, maybe getting your career in order, you know. Now I'm gonna add, okay, like, some of you may or may not know that, like, I'm studying to be a gemologist. So I'll be a gemologist actually in less than a month. Okay, and so one of the things I've learned about citrine is most citrine is dyed quartz. Okay, to find actual citrine is really rare, and so like I could take this, adding my own kind of like gemologist like energy, your connection with this is that you may have some rare find, like in the sense of like maybe part of this has been discovering like the illusions, like in the sense of like I'll use the example of me discovering that most citrine is dyed. And so I have the ability, and the tools in order to now decipher what is actually real citrine and what is not real citrine. Kind of thing. Like, so you can take this into like maybe there's been a lot of assessment, over these, like let's say, since June, and then maybe more heavily during the retrograde in September. It's like, what is true to you? What is abundance to you? What is happiness to you? Like what might have been, like what might have you been deceiving yourself before, about what truly makes you happy, what truly makes you passionate. But like now now you have the clarity about these opportunities that are around you, okay, and the type of abundance that you want to create and that you have the power to create because now you are the genuine article, okay? Not saying that you ever weren't before. I'm not saying that at all, okay? But it's like gaining the power of and the discovery of of your truth. What is happiness to you? Like how do you want your future to go? Okay, you've kind of done the assessment about like what is true, what is not, like who's fake around you, who is not, like so I wonder if that resonates for you. If not, you can go to another pile or whatever. But okay, so now I'm gonna do a 5-card spread. And then like I'll probably go back and forth to this, but it's like, okay, so what can we tell those that picked citrine? What can we tell them to help them stay in highest vibration on their truth path, as Mars goes direct? Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna cut the deck. Oh, there's like a card that is like flipped in there. I don't know if it'll come out or not. Okay. But we have the Hierophant. So Hierophant is, so this really does go really along the same themes as Citrine, in the sense that like the Hierophant is about, like it can be about, like if this is about work, like this can be about like institutions and like higher, or like universities, like higher institutions of learning, like you could have discovered, like maybe what you want to learn and what you like, again, what is true from you. Okay, this can be about commitments in terms of relationships and family. This can be about morals, again, like what is true for you, what has been passed down, generation to generation, maybe, that is no longer true for you, for example, like, or what is the world you want to create? What do you want to pass on, to the next generation? Okay, like, has your concept about like what is really important in this life, has that adjusted maybe? It's like we do have, we have a lot of things that are happening with COVID, right? And things are slowing down. People are, definitely reflecting on, what is important now. Okay. So what we have here is this, okay, this could be a question that you have or a challenge that you might be dealing with right now or what you've been dealing with over the Mars cycle. Okay. What is this? This is the 6 of Cups. Okay. So this can be the concept of home. This can be a concept definitely of like relationships, and like this is that like nostalgia, that reminiscing, that soulmate potentially, that friendship, the innocence, too, like returning, to that feeling of like a kid again. This can represent your children, for example, again, like what is right for them, like what is best for them, what is good for them, like what is the teachings and the morals that you want to pass on. Maybe there's been a lot of reflection about that over, the last, few months or so. Okay, and then maybe now it's just like, okay, you might know what is truly important now. Like what makes you feel like completely in bliss. It can be just having fun with your kids. Like people are having more time at home, for example, and getting more quality time sometimes. But at the same time, there are a lot of families that, have to part and, like they have, specific responsibilities, that can keep them at a distance. So it can really depend on your situation, okay? So, but like the background to this, what we have here is the King of Pentacles. Okay, so this is, this with the King of Pentacles is a father. He's a businessman. Like, so this can definitely be, somebody in like an institution or whatever. But I mean, again, this is the essence of abundance. Like, the King of Pentacles sits in his field of plenty. He knows that he has the power to create anything on the tangible sense. He can create the world he wants, his children to live in, for example. Or again, if this represents, like a potential soulmate, or like, like that they can create, that place of security where, you can really grow, on a physical and on an emotional sense, with a lot of spirituality. So this can just represent spirituality in general as well, and it's kind of like, the question might be like, definitely again, like what happens now, in this, like, you could be nostalgic for home, or for that, emotional connection with another, now that there has been some kind of upgrade in some kind of spiritual sense that has really led you to become secure in some sense. Okay. Yeah. So you in the situation, this can represent a strength, or I love it. Okay? Because it's like, this is the way, I believe. Yeah, the way. So you've been praying, potentially. You've been having faith. And the thing about the way, and again, like, if you haven't been, the lesson that you're learning or will be learning as, like as the year ends, okay, is that you know the way to go. Okay, these are really, really spiritual, like, cards. It's as if like there is a calling to potentially return somewhere, somewhere that is sweet, potentially even to a soulmate, some kind of higher level of commitment. But regardless, if this is about, creating the world you want, for the future generations, it's like, the way. And this is, okay, this does, correspond to also like the Tao. And it's like the internal knowing, the call, It's like almost like taking action before it makes sense sometimes. However, but you've been very determined, okay? You've been learning a lot. You've been getting secure. You've been focusing on what is abundance to you, okay? And you've been having full faith. And if you're not, it's encouraging for you to do so. But I think you have been. And it's been a huge strength, okay? You've been leveling up. Congrats. I don't know if that made the camera, but it's my cat. Bang. Scratching probably. Okay, so your environment, okay, is the Five of Pentacles. Okay, so there there probably has been some kind of material loss. You know, it can be like, you know, you could have, you know, felt like you've lost some kind of, in this sense, I feel like there has been like some kind of material loss in terms of income. You know, you could have lost a job, for example, you know, and there could be like a lot of worries, you know, but the thing is that there is going to be change here. I think you know the way, okay? I think you know the path you need to take in order to bring this abundance, okay? The kings know how to get into their field of plenty, okay? And so this could just represent worry. You know, it's like maybe you're worrying that your prayers won't be answered, for example. You know, but I do feel that there is a very spiritual connection, like either you with another, you with the divine, you with yourself, or all of the above. Okay, and I don't think there needs to be any worry. If there's worry in your environment, like in your home environment, you know, whether you can pay your bills maybe, or if maybe there's people around you that are just constantly worried. It's like, no, have faith, okay? You know the way. You know it from like potentially like deep within your soul. Because I think that this has been, okay, this is a major arcana, okay? The major arcana, you know, is like thought long and hard about what is true to you, what is real, what is fantasy, how you can make the fantasy real, you know, like what is possible. And so I don't think there's need to have worry. And if there's people around you that are causing worry, like, I mean, have faith, okay? You know the way, and you know that everything is gonna be okay, okay? Okay, and where this is like the answer, where this is heading you, or whatever the case is, oh my goodness, is a reveal. Okay? So, man, these so correspond with my November readings. Man, if you haven't watched those, definitely watch them, because all these cards keep coming out. Okay, so we have the way, okay, and we have reveal. You can kind of see how it goes like this. It might go like this. I don't know. I think it can go any way really, but I think it's like this. And generally speaking, you would have the world here, but I think people who've drawn to this reading has already had a major ending. Okay, and so it's kind of like now what, you know, is your field of plenty, you know, and I do believe that it is about a reveal, and then it is going to be like maybe revealing something from your higher self, something that you were drawn to do. Maybe there'll be a really high reveal in terms of your calling, okay, but I think it is time to, if you need to make a reveal, you know the way. Okay, and this is big. This has whatever you're trying to create has the ability to not only change your world, but I do believe it can be a guiding force for others. light for others. You know, like if you've done a lot of work again about deciphering what is true and what is not, like, I mean, is there some kind of information you need to reveal? Okay, but I mean, if there's a worry around you, I mean, like, it may be hard to tune it out, but I mean, like, tune out those naysayers. You know, try your best. Like, I mean, you know what is true for you, okay? So what kind of takeaway message can we have? Those Tower, which is also Mars. Okay, so this is big. This has like been like big epiphanies. Okay, and you have a King of Wands here too. This is passion. What else? Those are the other cards that I just like the spread that I just had. Okay, so there might be somebody that will come in and like and give some kind of bombshell. You know, or this is your, like, again, big reveal. Like, what have you learned during this time period? You know, like, what are you passionate about? Okay, this is going fast. This is embracing that Mars energy. Now, the thing is, okay, like I really take this as being more of a, okay, so the Tower moments can definitely be, like, shocking and, you know, like they're things you don't expect, but they are divine intervention. And so there might be somebody that comes in that creates some kind of divine intervention, you know, that like, I don't think this Tower is bad, you know, like maybe you're worrying about something, but I do think that this is going to be something exciting. Okay? So go after what you want. You know, you've been like having faith and you've been, creating something or, definitely, you know, looking deep within yourself and it's ready. Like it's like you're ready to whatever that is for you. Like you're ready for your abundance. Anyways, congrats. Okay, so hopefully that helps, and I'm going to go on to the second reading, okay, which is Brazillianite. Okay. Hello. So those who chose Brazillianite, okay, which can't quite remember what stone this actually is, because Brazillianite is actually just meaning a stone that was found in Brazil, but it actually is another type of stone, probably some kind of quartz. So anyways, so what does it say here? Flexibility. Interesting. So have you been really like, assessing during the last few months about how you can be flexible, how you can probably give like maybe like an equal give and take, like how like have you been opening your mind to new ideas, new concepts, like have you been getting new inspirations, have you been allowing people to come in with new ideas? Okay. So it's really interesting. Like, I do believe that there is, like, been some kind of clarity that you've been getting in along those realms. Let's see where that goes into. Okay. So what messages can we tell those who chose Brazillianite? Okay. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. So what is this? The Death card. So this is transformation. Okay, and we have Queen of Cups as well in the bottom of the deck. Okay, so maybe you've been getting some like real clarity on your emotions, Okay, so what messages can we do? I'm going to do like a 5-card spread. Okay, your cards are ready. Alright, what do we have here? So at the bottom of the deck, we have Okay, so maybe the first reading would also resonate with you. Okay, so I mean, I was thinking too with the green with the Brazilianite. I was thinking, like abundance and things like that, and money, and clarity, But I mean, okay, so we have the Hierophant here. So you might have been having like maybe gaining more openness in terms of your spirituality. Again, like what has been true to you in the past? Like, is it still true to you today? Like, you've been maybe opening your mind or allowing new ideas when it comes to, like, again, if it's not relating into some kind of spiritual sense, this is on, like that higher level of commitment that is on like institutions, spreading knowledge. So let's see how this goes. Okay, so the situation is the Queen of Wands. Okay, so this can be like you could have a question about a fire sign, like maybe some kind of commitment that you have with this fire sign, or if it's not specifically a fire sign, it could be, someone who is very passionate, an entrepreneur, very spiritual, can be psychic, or this can be representing you in the sense of, like, the question would be like, how do you take action, like maybe blending your spiritual path with your passions, for example. Like, is there ability to blend, like, and again, like what makes you inspired, you know has there been something that, again, that you have learned recently that is opening you up to like a whole new world, maybe? Okay, so the past that's influencing right now, okay, is the Queen of Swords. I find it interesting that she came up because, like, I don't know, I was just kind of like organizing sort of, and she was just out of the deck. I don't know how long she's been out of the deck for. I don't think so Queen of Swords has been missing for a little bit from this deck. So this can be an air sign, This can represent two women. So maybe your past was about, okay, okay. So this can be a couple of different things. If it represents two people, maybe your past is representing somebody, like the Queen of Swords can be a divorcee. It can be somebody who's just can be cold, but they're also just kind of thing, right? So it really kind of depends. But you're seeing like a little bit of a contrast, now there's like this fiery kind of thing. So it can be two people, like representing someone from your past and someone presently, but it also can represent you yourself. It's like maybe you were, um, you know, like again, she's, Queen of Swords is, great energy. She's like, she can be seen really like, harsh on the outside, but as, one reader says, ooey gooey. Always trust your intuition, people, because well, again, I don't get it. I didn't run out of space, but I mean, like, anyways, it says like I have 9 gigs. I don't get it. Anyways, so yes. So shout out Ramblin' Mike Stero, because he describes the Queen of Swords as, like again, seems kind of cold and, detached on the outside, but can be, ooey gooey, soft and chewy in the center, And so maybe based on, bringing more spirituality in your life, or being more open and flexible to beliefs, things that used to be true that maybe not true anymore. It's like, you know, you've opened yourself from, kind of being a little bit more cold, detached, again, if you have recently gone through a divorce, for example, it can represent is that, divorcee, not really, open to love, for example, or commitment. But then through this, there's been some transformation where there's this fire, like, or this can represent two people, one from a past, one more currently. Okay? So what you've been doing, okay, or the guidance, is the world, the crown. So the world, okay, so these readings are related, but at the same time, like, maybe someone who's picked this reading may not have, gone for as complete as many tasks as the one in number one. I'm not sure. But regardless, what you're doing right now is closing off cycles. Okay? Maybe, and leveling up. So this can be like from like knowledge that you've been learning, things that you've been reading maybe, like it has really gone to these like evolution. This can, also represent travel. But I mean, like, I do believe that you have been leveling up and it's time for celebration, you know? Okay? And like your environment, okay, is Five of Swords. So there has been some conflict. Okay, so I mean, I believe that, you've been doing what you can to end this conflict. Okay, like there might be too many people, giving too many ideas and too many comments and too many like harsh words. Okay, but I do feel that like maybe, it's like maybe you were participating in these harsh words before, but now you're kind of like, opening up to, being a little bit more flexible with either maybe people's ideas or, the fact that, it's time to end this conflict, you know? Okay, and then the answer, okay, is the King of Pentacles. So we have a lot of people here, okay? So, I mean, like, this can be about, again, like being less detached, you know, letting your passions kind of, bring you forward, and the outcome is King of Pentacles. So this is like, being in your field of plenty, but this can represent definitely people, like, and really knowing what you need to do to end this conflict. Okay, like this is a businessman. Okay, this can definitely represent like with the Hierophant as well. It can represent like an organization, for example, and so it's like you are stepping into this like, okay, so this can be like, okay, during this Mars time period, okay, it's like gaining the idea, thinking about it, maybe not being too inspired, but now you're inspired. Now you have a want. There's some kind of want, some kind of completion, some kind of level up, some kind of celebration, some kind of end to this conflict that you want. Okay? And now it's about with the King of Pentacles. That is tangible. That is on the 3D. It's now no longer time for just thinking. It's now time for action. The pedal to the metal type of thing. The money where your mouth is, all that. And I think it's going to lead you to success. Okay? So keep doing it. Keep ending the conflict. Keep doing what you are guided to do. Okay? Be flexible. Okay? If you are embodying, like, I mean, Queen of Swords, like, it is very just, very truthful, but may not be as flexible. Queen of Wands may be too flexible. The King of Pentacles can be a really nice middle ground. This can be, somebody coming in as a mediator. Okay, like if you have, this can represent, like, regardless of gender, but this can represent, if you think about, like, okay, like the queens, versus the king, It's like almost like somebody coming in with the knowledge and experience, to end whatever conflict is happening within this organization or within this, or it's like maybe a lack of leadership, for example. And there needs to be somebody to come in to really organize things. Okay? But it's like you are doing what you know you need to do in order to end this conflict. So I do believe that there is something that about compromise, and that you have been, really reflecting on like what is best in this situation, what is best for your team, and it's either you stepping in to end this conflict or bringing somebody else in who has that king status that can really help you. Well, okay, actually here. Okay, what's the takeaway message that we can, I'm not going to put those back, those too many. What's the takeaway message? Hopefully that made sense. 10 of Cups. Okay, so things, okay. We have 8 of Swords here and 10 of Cups. So there's something that you have been thinking about, okay? And it might just be to like, now you just need to be flexible, or you might be compromising, or now you kind of have the idea, right? But I mean, the 8 of Swords means that you have the power to get yourself out of it, okay? And it can be about like, here, okay, so we had the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Swords, and the King of Pentacles, right? I was wondering, where are the emotions? Here's some emotions. So I think you can have a happily ever after, okay, if you take a leadership role to end this conflict by doing what you know that is needed to be done, okay, and bring some compromise, and there's going to be some prosperity. This is the happily ever after, okay, and like, whether that can mean that like ending one situation, but it is about a level up, and you will be prosperous. I felt that was like jumbled. How did that make sense to you? Does that make sense? Anyways, you're going through some conflict. Hopefully that makes more sense, but I mean, I think you like, what is right. The Hierophant knows what is right in the situation, what is just, like how to step in and be a leader and get results done. King of Pentacles knows how to get results done, okay? So there is something like a mediator is needed, or you need to be a mediator, or it is about you embodying all these aspects of you in order to create, some kind of compromise. Okay, hopefully that was helpful. And now I'm gonna go on to the third one, which is Black Obsidian. Okay, Black Obsidian. So this is, what does it say here? The shadow. So Black Obsidian, okay, so this is natural glass. Technically it's been, created from lava, basically. So it has taken a long time to develop, like most, minerals and crystals kind of thing, but Black Obsidian, so you could be someone like me who has, a lot of Mars influence in the 12th house. So there could have been a lot of like really internal work, really looking at the dark side, like looking at the, like how are you on autopilot? What are those things that are unconscious that, those actions that you do? Like, have you been really, looking at your subconscious and like your wants and your desires and the parts of you that you try to hide from others, and the parts of you that you try to shine and over, like, Does that kind of resonate with some of the things that you've been dealing with throughout, the last few months? Okay, we'll see how that kind of plays in. But what can we tell those who chose Black Obsidian to help them in staying highest vibration and on the truest path as Mars goes direct? Okay, I do think for those who this is just showing itself because it's like this is probably the card that was like mixed in that I never. Okay, we have Seven of Swords, intuition. Okay, so yeah, I was gonna say I think a lot of you have been going deep because that's what I was about to say because it's like it was taking a long time to not like thing, and then as I'm okay, so you have been, I think dealing with secrets, dealing with like what is true for you, like again, like what have you been lying to yourself about? What has been hidden, from you, maybe. Okay. So that's kind of like within, but okay. Yeah. So we have the Devil energy. Okay. So this can be dealing with things like this is dealing with those self-imposed bondages. Okay. Like, definitely shadow work here. Okay. Devil energy here is like, the things, now granted, like, in the positive, it's like we do need those times, to have fun. We do need those times to indulge in chocolate, and things like that, but too much chocolate or whatever can, make our stomach feel sick or whatever, So, I mean, I do feel like there has been like, for those who've been drawn to this, like really, dealing with your internal like what do you feel stuck to, what has been things that have been ultimately rather toxic, like I mean it can be the influence of others, it can be within yourself, like again like when we have the high priestess there, and high priestess is she's the keeper of secrets, that is though like also about knowing, like that just knowing, right? Then you have the Seven of Swords as well, which is about deceit and like lies kind of thing, in best case it's strategy, right? So like, but there's been something about like, really doing the hard inner work, okay? Like this can be about admitting your addictions, whether this is addictions to like drugs or alcohol or addictions to, anything like again, like chocolate, and so good on you, man. This is hard, hard work, okay? Dealing with, like again, your attachments. The thing about the devil is that you can get yourself out of it. Like let's look at here too. Like you see a lot of kind of like it's like a gold, but it's kind of just coming out, and it's like, you know, like it's kind of like that, like all that glitters not gold kind of thing, or whatever the case is, and so like maybe you would resonate with some of the other readings as well, where it's just kind of like assessing like what is true for you, like what is abundance to you, like what is like things that you have been trapped to that are no longer good for you, maybe. Okay, so the situation is Nine of Swords. Okay, so like this can represent obsessions. Okay, like have you been like overly obsessing about something? Like maybe overly obsessing about like doing this like deep internal work, maybe, for example, but Nine of Swords, okay? So yeah, this is about sleepless nights. Like maybe you haven't been getting enough sleep, maybe because there's been something that has been keeping your attention, a lot. And so, I mean, but the thing but the stresses are almost over. Okay, this is a 9. This is ending. Okay, so you're about to end some kind of stress, some kind of addiction, some kind of obsession, some kind of where you're about done the internal work that is needed at the moment. You know, it's like we're always needing to reflect on ourselves and we're always needing to do the shadow work, you know, but like you're almost done in terms of what you need to get accomplished right now. And the past, okay, is the Five of Swords, okay? So if there was some type of conflict in the past that is still influencing you right now, okay? But I do believe that now, okay, this has been influencing you a lot in the last few months, I think. I think this has been a theme of, you know, like since probably like September, okay, where there's been some kind of fight with another, some kind of part where it's something that was not fair. You know, maybe you won, but at what cost? Or maybe nobody won, you know, and then like both people are overwhelmed or all parties are overwhelmed with their emotions in the sense of and having like these sleepless nights, okay, but there is something that needs to be worked out, okay, something that needs to be released, okay, and I think it needs to be some kind of truth. Are you stressing about some kind of truth you need to release, something that you have realized by doing your internal work? There's something that you need to release yourself from something, okay? Admit, you know, like these are a lot of thoughts. A lot of thoughts. Okay, you in this situation. Six of Cups. Well, that's at least a different contrast. Okay, so is there some, like, are you stressing about a friend? Like, did you have some kind of fight with a friend? Okay, that you're stressing about, that you, there could be, like, you could be obsessing about this conflict. It's keeping you up at nights, you know, but you were ultimately, like, really nostalgic about it. You know, this can be, like, about returning to a place of peace, a place of harmony. You know, this is like, you know, coming from, I think you're in the process of ending this overthinking about this conflict and you're becoming at a place of peace, you know, maybe because you are like reaching out, you know, like offering somebody to someone, like, or reconnecting, for example, like maybe it's been a really long time since you guys connected and you know you're worried about this conflict and stuff like that, but like ultimately you have really really fond memories, very sweet memories about this, okay, and your environment, okay, is reveal. Okay, so I mean again these all seem to connect, so there's been some kind of reveal, or I think you've gotten an epiphany, maybe. Or somebody's going to come to you with some kind of epiphany. Because what we do really see here is like a change of energies. We have kind of like this darkness, this dark, you know, like this obsession, this, you know, toxicity. Granted, you know, together that can be, you know, sexual connection, you know. But there's ultimately like, you know, some kind of conflict that you've been stressing about. And I think that there's either going to be some kind of reveal, some kind of like either some kind of idea or spiritual download, or someone's going to reveal something to you that will change this energy from something that is really dark and heavy, you know, to something that is really light and refreshing. And where this is taking you, okay, is pray. I don't know, maybe I didn't shuffle that well, I don't know, okay? So this is leading you to having faith. So there's going to be something that is going to be revealed to you, or you're going to have some kind of acceptance that is going to help you detach from overthinking about some conflict and by bringing some peace into the situation, okay? Which I think you know the way. Like, have trust. Like, this is about being guided, doing what you're guided to do, and not, like, sometimes not knowing why you're guided, but you just know. Okay? So I think you've been overthinking about something that you know you either need to do or end a conflict. You know, like, I mean, it's getting into, like a place of do something about it or not at all. Like, and accept it then. Like, why keep thinking about it? Maybe. Okay. So what kind of takeaway message can we give those that are drawn to the Black Obsidian? Change. Okay, so this is the Two of Pentacles. Okay, I really love the Two of this deck in general. Okay, but like you have the affinity. Okay, anything and everything is possible. Okay, this is about making tangible change. You can't just think about it anymore. Okay, you have to do something about it. And I said it at 222 when I got that. That is about partnership. Okay, if there's something that you're stressing out, just make it right. You know, or like, okay, so this is evolution. Okay, this is they have it as resurrection. Okay, but this is temperance. Okay, so this is about healing. Okay, it is time to bring change. Okay, stop stressing about this conflict. It's not going to make it better. Okay, it's just bringing you, you know, like into this obsessive thing, you know. And so I do feel that I think this whole process, you know, in retrograde, it has been to have a new perspective, okay, to do the inner work, okay, to see what your role was in this, okay, you know, how can you have faith, you know, like, how can you change the energy, okay, into this, you know, sweetness, this balancing. So I do feel that you have been balancing the emotions, okay, because you have been guided by some kind of inspiration and maybe some kind of healing, some kind of divine, you know, calling to create tangible change. Awesome. You guys tell me if this makes sense. Or doesn't make sense, or if these are good. Like, I mean, I feel like I just keep rambling and stuff like that, you know? So, I mean, maybe that's related to your reading in the sense of that, like, you're obsessing about a scenario over and over again, and it's now starting to get a little borderline, and so I'm like, unless you're gonna do something about it, like, I mean, it's like, do something about it or stop thinking about it, you know, one of those two, you know, kind of thing, because thinking about it is not gonna create the change that you want, you know, there's something that you are, you know, reminiscing about, you know, the good old times, and so, I mean, if you want it, go for it. You know, what's the worst that can happen, right? Like, is it going to be any worse than right now? Is it going to be any worse than, like, stressing about it and, like, wishing for the good times, but then thinking that it's never going to happen, blah, 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 but then you don't do anything about it? If you don't do anything about it, you can't have change. You know, if you don't try, if you don't reveal, if you don't say anything, there's no possibility. Then, again, you're no worse off. You're actually worse off when you don't try. Because then you'll never know, and then there'll be regret kind of thing, right? But then there's an opportunity here. It does suggest there is an opportunity for healing that will really impact you for the long term, okay? That will really change this devil energy, okay, into something wonderful. Okay, so you know the way. I think you did a lot of hard work in internalizing, like, internally. So congrats, you know. Time for your really review, and you know the way. Anyways, have a good one. Take care.